Don't start out with raw carrots or a rare steak. Those things are really difficult to digest. Let this be your guideline. Start with broth. Whether that's a vegetable broth or a bone broth, it doesn't matter. Start with a broth and make sure there's enough salt of it in it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Quality of Life Quest. My name is Anneke. And today's podcast is about how to reintroduce food after a bout of diarrhea and or vomiting. So what is the problem with introducing food and it not being the right food? And then I'll talk about what could be the right food and the effects it will have on the body. So, if you have a bout of diarrhea and or vomiting, and that lasts for quite a bit, a few days, then your digestive system is completely empty. From top to bottom, there's nothing left in it. So even if you throw up, if you do that often enough and you can't hold anything down, then the end result will be, in the end, you'll be completely empty. That is similar to when you do a fast. When you do a fast and you don't eat for however long, a couple of days, your digestive system is completely empty. And when people fast, they hopefully have looked into how to reintegrate food into their system. But when you are ill, when you have diarrhea and or vomiting, you didn't plan for it. And chances are that you haven't looked into what to do next. And if you do it wrong, and I've been one of them, if you do it wrong, you end up with the most horrible digestive problems. It hurts your gut. It hurts. It feels as if it's wriggling in your belly. There can be bloating, gas, you name it. It's really, really uncomfortable to the point of painful. So you want to do it as well as you can possibly do it. How do I know this? From personal experience and also from experience with patients in hospital. So when I was in hospital for my burst appendix, I didn't eat the day leading up to being hospitalized. I had diarrhea and I had thrown up. Of course, I was in an awful lot of pain, but the system itself was cleaning itself out already. Then I was brought to hospital, with the understanding that they would operate on me straight away. However, they didn't. They left me for 3 days. So that's another 3 days I didn't eat. Then they operated on me, and I can't remember how long it took me to eat again. I didn't eat for several days, but I can't remember how many days. Anyway, the system was empty. It was definitely empty. And then when I did start eating again, there was a nutritionist, and this was 1999, so it's a while ago. There was a nutritionist from hospital who said that I needed fattening up. I had, to be fair, I had gone very, very skinny, but my brain was like, I don't need fattening up. I need, building up. The advice was that I could eat milkshakes and French fries and, hamburgers, whatever I fancied. Anything you would think of as fast food, bad food, I was allowed. And I thought, that's weird, that doesn't sound right. How can this be classified as wrong food in any other conversation, and all of a sudden I can have it after being ill? So I did the only thing I could come up with at the time, and I was young and I didn't know that much. And I thought of good food. Well, bread in my mind wasn't particularly bad, so I had some toast. And in my mind, vegetables must be good. So the offering was salad. So I was eating salad. As it turned out, for me personally, bread is not particularly good to eat. It doesn't agree that well with my insides. And salads, raw vegetables, you need a lot of movement of your gut and a lot of digestive juices and a lot of bringing it about for it to break down. And man, was I in a lot of pain and bloating, and it was horrible. It was really, I was in so much pain. And this whole episode was brought to mind again when I met a patient this week, and he had thrown up for over a week. So his system was empty as well, and had come to hospital and had gotten some sort of medication, some sort of medical attention. I don't know what they did with him, but when I met him, he had just got his appetite back, and he had eaten a sausage roll and some other food that would be classified as junk food. So I tried to gently introduce some other ideas, and he was adamant. No, meat was the way forward. And he didn't like vegetables. For some reason, maybe the same as I did at the time. Vegetables are seen as healthy, but he was having none of it. He was never going to eat vegetables. Meat was his thing. And, I couldn't get a word in edgeways, so I left him to it, only to come back a bit later and finding him in agony because his stomach really hurt, and maybe sausage roll and other junk food had not been the best of choices. So that's why you want to break that fast, that imposed fast, in a gentle way. You want to reintroduce food into your system. And as I've discovered, for me personally, toast is not the way forward. Salads are not the way forward. And my patients, and I've seen it with other patients as well, but sausage roll and junk food is not the way forward either. So what is the way forward? Now, of course, it depends on your lifestyle and your beliefs and what you consider to be healthy food or ethical food. So you might be a vegetarian or you might be a carnivore. The principles themselves are still the same. So what is the first food to reintroduce to your body? Most people in the know agree with this, that it is broth. So if you are of the vegetable persuasion, you make a vegetable stock with some carrots, some celery, some herbs in it. Just make a nice stock. Salt. Salt is also something you want to put in it. And you just take the stock. It is warming. If you've got good salt like sea salt or rock salt, there are minerals in there, and it will start getting the juices of your digestive system flowing again, bit by bit, gently, it will start it going again. Now, if you're of the carnivore persuasion, then a bone broth is really, really good. It's rich in minerals. Again, add some salt, add some herbs to it. You're not going to eat the herbs, they just provide some flavor. And that would be the first step. So if you're definitely against vegetables, you can then start doing some proteins as a next step. Maybe some boiled eggs, maybe some fish would be a good next step. Again, take some salt with it and maybe some herbs, and not too many spices maybe, but some herbs. If you are on the vegetable front, add some fermented foods. They are really good for your digestive system in whatever occasion. And then bit by bit introduce the food that you normally eat. And then think of it in baby food consistency. Don't start out with a raw carrots or a rare steak. Those things are really difficult to digest. But if you cook or steam the vegetables, or if you stew meat, it breaks down and it's easier to digest. Of course, you can always add herbal teas. There are various ones that help your digestive system. For me, at the time, I drank a lot of ginger tea. Ginger is really good against bloating in the system. If ginger is too hot for you, try peppermint and just steep it. So when I did the ginger tea, I would make it in thin slices and just stew it for a bit. For me, the stronger the tea was, the better it worked, and I would take it as medicine. I wouldn't particularly like it, but I would get it down. And for me, ginger tea, it works. If I make it strong, it works in about 15 minutes. So that's a pretty quick turnaround. So to recap, if you've had a bout of diarrhea and or vomiting, and it was an unplanned fast and you need to reintroduce food again, let this be your guideline. Start with broth. Whether that's a vegetable broth or a bone broth, it doesn't matter. Start with a broth and make sure there's enough salt of it in it. Good salt, either sea salt or rock salt, but let it be nourishing to you. Then, bit by bit, start to reintroduce food. And this must be easily digestible food. So if you eat vegetables, fermented food is really, really good. And either steamed or boiled vegetables are good as well. For carnivores, if you're really on a carnivore diet, make it easily digestible by eating eggs or some fish like salmon, something that's gut friendly. And then after that, you can slowly start to reintegrate the food you're used to. As in, if you're used to eating salads, bit by bit, start reintroducing that. And if you feel it's going wrong, if you feel that you get into pain, if you feel bloated, stop doing that and go back one step. And the same, of course, goes with meat. If you try some meat and it doesn't sit quite well, take a step back. Go back to broth and maybe eggs and see what you can eat. Personally, I think of reintroducing food as baby food. You know how babies, when they get weaned, they start with this unidentifiable food because it's mashed all together. But it makes it easy to digest. Make sure you chew your food really, really well. Chewing food, it's the first stage of digestion, and there are specific enzymes released in your mouth to start the digestive process. So just, putting an egg in your mouth and swallowing it whole, that's a no. Make sure that whatever you put in your mouth before you swallow it has this baby food consistency, and then you swallow it, and then you leave it to the rest of your gut to work it out. So yeah, it may not be a nice podcast, but believe you me, if you're in that position, you really want to know what to do. And I think it is a life skill to make a broth. It is so easy. It is so incredibly easy to make a broth. But give it a go a couple of times before you actually need it, because by that time you've got enough stress and you're most probably quite weak in the knees, so you don't want to be doing an awful lot of research, or you want to be able to work on autopilot. You want to be able to go like, okay, I'm feeling rubbish. What do? I make a broth, and then you just go through the steps that you've learned to do over time. It's really simple. The main ingredient is water. And then you add to that whatever it is you normally eat, whether that's vegetables or meat. Yeah, look it up online. There's plenty of recipes. The end result, you need to drink the clear liquid, so you put it through a sieve. It's not sexy, it's not sparkly, and it's necessary, and it can prevent an awful lot of pain, I can tell you that. So on that note, It may set the tone for a fresh start when you're in that position, but the fresh start really starts now by learning those basic skills, and that it's somewhere in your head. You've heard it before, and it will kind of ring a bell when you or your loved ones are in that position. And let's face it, most people end up in that position at some point in their life, especially when people go on holiday. So this is perfect timing. Okay, that's it. I wish you all the best. Until we meet again, see you next time. Bye.